But
Yeah, no worries.
but yeah, but in terms of, if you don't know what to say or you make any mistakes, don't worry. Like super casual. I'll cut things out anyway, if I need to. So yeah, it's just conversation, pretty much. Um,
Perfect.
but yeah, cool. Any questions at all, or all pretty clear on
No, I
that?
think I'm good.
Cool, cool. All right. Once we finish as well, I will stop. I'll say bye to you, but I'll just stop recording. But we'll stay on a
Okay.
call, and then we'll actually say bye properly. So yeah. So once we finish, then we'll have a quick chat, and then we'll jump off. And obviously, if you want the recording for this for whatever reason, just let me know. I can send it across. Obviously, you can use it if you need to or want to for anything.
Sure.
Then you can as well.
Awesome.
Cool, cool. All right. Ready? Yeah.
Ready?
Cool, cool. All right. Well, yeah, Chris, thanks very much for taking the time. Very much appreciate it. Obviously, you're here to chat about your time in our program. Obviously, it's a few months ago now that you finished with us. Obviously, quite a few months before that you started with us. I will do obviously a little introduction myself before this. But obviously, in your own words, you just explained a bit about yourself, as in who you are, what it is you do, who you help, and just a little bit of context on where you're at right now with the business.
Awesome.
So tell us about your before stage. So where is you at before you joined the program? What was the situation? What was you working on? What was working? What wasn't working? Give us the context there.
Yeah, so when I first started the program, I was very much sort of taking a back seat. It was something that in terms of coaching in an online space, I had always thought about doing it. I've had a few missteps over the years, tried it, kind of stepped away. Nothing
Yeah.
was sort of clicking necessarily. Um, and so I really kind of was putting a lot of pressure on myself, putting a lot of negative talk, and putting myself into a limiting space.
Hmm.
And then once I started joining the program, through your guidance and the rest of your team, you guys really helped me define what that offer needed to look like in
Hmm.
order to be successful. Since then, it's kind of been a wild ride that I've been
Yeah.
enjoying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, amazing. What do you think then in terms of what you changed? And let's focus on the offer because that's obviously the thing you mentioned. So in terms of the offer, what do you think wasn't working about it before? And maybe what changes did you make that meant that now it is working and you're having the success you're having with it?
So I made a few changes throughout the program.
Mm.
When I initially came into the program, I was targeting mostly swim coaches
Yeah.
to try to help them. I thought it was an untapped niche
Mm.
that needed a little bit of a help on the coaching front.
Mm.
There weren't a lot of resources. And to discover that the one of the best ways to even reach swim coaches was still through the athletes.
Yeah.
So I made the swap, heading back into more the athlete focus, in terms of my messaging, in terms of my
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
And through that offer switch,
Mm.
helping swimmers, I've really been able to gain a lot more traction,
Mm.
particularly now with really doubling down on the stroke analysis side of things and
Yeah.
really helping on that coaching
Mm.
front versus necessarily individual content.
Mm.
Just so that hands-on approach in a digital world has really,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of success with my clients in their swimming abilities and the swim journey.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. And with the Instagram side of things, obviously it's worth mentioning that as well. I think there was quite a change, either in terms of engagement, in terms of followers, maybe
Yeah.
both. I think it was. Um, But what change did you see there? Because I remember when you first started, there was an audience there, but perhaps it wasn't that big, wasn't that engaged. And I think you started making the changes, especially with that kind of messaging change from the swim coaches more back towards the athletes and then reaching them that way. I remember that very much so had a big impact on like the engagement stuff. So just,
Massive
just
impact.
to talk us through that. What kind of happened there? What results happened with the Instagram side of things?
Absolutely. So when I started the program, my Instagram was sitting at about 97 followers.
Yeah,
So it was very tiny.
yeah,
I think it was mostly family and a few swimmers that I had worked with over the years
mm,
in terms of working with them in person
yeah,
versus in a virtual space.
Yeah.
And then through, and just kind of like, because the content was just very all over the place in
Mm,
terms of what I was trying to teach, what I was trying to say,
yeah.
it wasn't growing.
Yeah.
And then again, with that focus on changing the offer, changing the messaging, by the time I finished the program, I had just over 950 people, audience members
Yeah.
on there as
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
I've since broken the 1,000 mark,
Yeah.
and looking to continue to grow.
Yeah.
But it huge difference
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
a massive amount of people
Yeah.
focusing in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's brilliant, and I think what's good as well is, for people who might be watching this, they're probably waiting for you to say, you know, I'm now 100,000 followers, you know, I'm now at 200,000, or, you know, something like that. Because people typically,
Yeah.
that's what they expect of these types of programs. Um, but it just goes to show it's about quality of audience rather than quantity of audience. You know, as you just said before we started, you've got around about 17 clients, active clients at the moment, you know, that have
I
sort of
do.
come
Yeah.
through,
Yep.
you know, come through from that. And what's great about the model you have right now is this is recurring income. These are people who are paying you, staying with you monthly, renewing with you very often. And from the sounds of things, it's become quite predictable for you, and probably there's more interest as well that comes monthly. You know, and I think, and that's what's so important for us and everyone to understand. It's not about the size of the audience; it's about the quality of the audience. The people following, do they
Yep.
care? Do they resonate? Is the messaging, is the offer right, like you said? And when that's all right and that's all good, then you start to get the actual clients coming through off the back of that. So it's really cool, you know, that you've had a success even with the audience being that size. It's still a
Sure.
massive size, you know, compared to the average person. But yeah, it's really cool to see. So in terms of then your turning point, and what I wanted to ask is, when you invested into this program, and I ask this question to everyone,
Mm.
the question is, why did you invest into the program? And that's not, I don't want you to say, Harry, your program's amazing. That's nothing to do with me. It's not anything about my program. It's about yourself. What was it in yourself that made you say, look, I need to get help. Now is the time. You know, did something happen? Was it a turning point? Something, you know, mindset shift? If you can remember, what was the turning point for you that made you want to invest at that time?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So there was a few things that kind of occurred all at the same time.
Yeah,
I had originally been working with Kane on some clothing brand
yeah,
that I was trying to get off the ground,
yeah,
um, and started seeing how him taking his clothing brand and turning into this more of a coach
mm,
style.
mm,
I was really impressed by that,
yeah,
and kind of started asking him some questions, kind of
mm,
getting. He started throwing out your name and the
mm,
program that he was in at the time, which of
yeah,
course is your program,
yeah,
as well as at the same time, I was starting to really think a lot more about wanting to get back into something I was truly passionate about, something that really did make me excited to get up every day, something that I could help with,
mm,
and swimming has always been part of my life. I
mm,
started swimming as a young athlete at 6 years old, swam all the
mm,
way through a national level till I was 21. And in between there, had some overlap of coaching on person, and then been
mm,
coaching ever since. So
mm, mm,
that sort of, and that was always sort of the happiest place I've ever been, is coaching and helping people in
yeah,
swimming. So
yeah,
through some of those conversations with Kane and then meeting you as well, it just felt right in terms of
mm,
making that shift finally
yeah.
in my world, to take action.
Yes. Yeah. 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 No, I understand that. I understand. Yeah, I think sometimes the stars align in a sense. You know, sometimes a
Exactly.
certain next step just feels, and that's not always going to be the case for everyone. Sometimes you have to force something to make something happen. But I think sometimes, you know, things happen and it feels, sometimes it might feel too good to be true in a sense, but sometimes it is a case of no, that is the moment to take action. And obviously, I'm very glad you did. You know, you're a great client of ours. You've had great success, and obviously for you, I'm sure obviously it was very helpful as well. You know, so it just goes to show when you have that moment, you have that feeling, you have to act on it. Because some people, and again, I think just worth saying, because of how you struggled in a sense with the business beforehand, I know that very much for you, joining a program was a case of it's now or never. You know, like it needs to work. You know, I can't keep doing this and it not working or doing different things. So it's great that obviously you was able to then turn it around and make it work. Even better, you're doing something you're very passionate about, which is the swimming stuff, you know, and that you've grown up doing, that you'll continue to do forever, pretty much, you know. So that's really cool to see. What do you think was or has been maybe your biggest lesson from it all? In terms of going through the program, you know, is there one thing that stands out to you in terms of something you learned? Maybe multiple things, I don't know. But what do you feel has been like the biggest lesson or lessons you've learned?
Yeah, but certainly there's been a few. I think one of the first things was that just showing up on social media isn't
Mm.
always going to guarantee success.
Yeah.
It really is about sort of that flow of
Mm.
not always trying to sell, but also not always trying to educate,
Yeah.
and start finding that right balance,
Mm.
in
Mm.
terms of when to sort of pop in all the right types of messaging and the
Yeah.
right type of content, to
Mm.
really get that maximum engagement, get
Yeah.
those extra leads,
Yeah.
have people reach out.
Mm.
Um, that was really quite different for
Mm.
me, because I'd always just gone one way or the other,
Yeah.
tried to sell too hard or tried to just go educational.
Yeah.
Then yeah, just sort of yeah, just kind of the ongoing hard work of how what it takes to actually
Yeah.
make this a success.
Yeah.
And that's not a it doesn't end when you just get that lead, and
Yeah.
they front the bill.
Yeah.
You do have to spend a lot of time then continuing to provide that value,
Yeah.
and make it worth their while
Yeah.
for them to keep coming back for more.
Yeah. 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 100%. 100%. And I think that's a really good um a really good sign of how what you're doing is working for you and clearly for your clients as well, because you still have clients, they're renewing, they're coming back, you know. So it's like you're clearly doing a good job in terms of the marketing. You're also doing a very good job in terms of actually delivering that program and getting results, which is why you're still having the success you're having, you know. And so it just goes to show that you do things the right way, at some point you're going to get results. And like I said, it is hard work. And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss out. It is hard work, you know, managing clients, delivering for them, doing your marketing, making your content, you know, selling to people, you know, all the things combined together, especially as a solopreneur, at least initially, it is very difficult. You know, most people tend to downplay it. But once you have the strategy, like you said, you understand what sort of a lever you need to pull, you know, what you need to do and not do to kind of create the outcomes you want. You have that control and predictability that business owners look for. And I think that
Right.
gives you confidence, gives you certainty, that allows you to show up differently, um, take risks in certain ways, whatever that might look like. But yeah, you know, and it all leads you to, again, having a success you're having and hopefully will keep having and keep growing into the future. So yeah, that's amazing to hear. But yeah, otherwise, mate, I don't take any more of your time. Like I said, super quick, 50 minutes or so. But I appreciate very much everything you said and obviously you being a client as well, previously. Just so everyone knows then, what's the best place to find you? Is it just the Instagram still, or are you doing anything else at all? If people want to find you, where should they
So
go?
yeah, thanks. I mean, first off, thank you very much. I mean, I really
Of course.
appreciate all the energy and time that you put into helping me,
Mm.
get to where I am. In terms of finding me, Instagram is definitely still one of the best places,
Yeah.
at between the laps.
Yeah.
And also, I've really started getting into a little bit more of long form content as well,
Yeah. Nice.
on YouTube as well. So
Cool.
same handle, uh, between the laps
Yeah.
is trying to keep consistent for the brand. And yeah, those are the two best places to find me online.
Cool. Cool. Amazing. I will put both of those links below the video somewhere on YouTube, so that anyone can find you and talk to you and buy from you or do whatever how they want to. Yeah, very easily. So cool. Amazing. Like I said, appreciate your time. Great to chat, and we'll chat again soon. Cool.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.